And this is Stefan, your Patrick come lately. Hopefully the audio's back. It looks like we lost connection there, and a speaker threw me off. So to know what's going on, I think my network here, I have some problems with the network, it sounds like, unfortunately. So we will see what happens. Anyway, I was going to play some music, so let's do that, and then I'm going to have a lot of fun afterwards recreating this show for the rebroadcast. But anyway, so here we go. Bruce Ballot, In God's Hands, because that's where we are right now, and hopefully he will help us get this country back on track.
At a public school in 4th grade in 1961, we'd start each day the same way, say the 23rd Psalm. We'd pledge allegiance to the flag, recite the Golden Rule, and the 10 Commandments proudly hung in the hallway of the school. Every time there was a gathering, someone would always pray. There was no doubt that back then God blessed the USA. Now it seems we turned our back on God, though we say in God we trust. And I wouldn't blame him in the least if he turned his back on us. How many cried his holy name when the terrorist attacked? You know the devil and his gang will keep on coming back. What's next for us? What does it take to make us understand? We need to take this country back and put it back in God's hands. In the 4th grade, went to school with her today. We pledged allegiance to the flag, but under God we did not say. No Bible in the classroom, they didn't know the Golden Rule, and the 10 Commandments were long gone from the hallway of the school. Even at a football game, are we allowed to pray? How could we let this happen? How did it get this way? Our kids aren't taught the truth anymore. Don't you think that it's a shame? The greatest nation on this earth, built upon God's name. How many cried his holy name when the terrorist attacked? You know the devil and his gang will keep on coming back. What's next for us? What does it take to make us understand? We need to take this country back and put it back in God's hands. What's next for us? What does it take to make us understand? We need to take this country back and put it back in God's hands. In God's hands. In God's hands.
Yes, folks, that was Bruce Ballot, In God's Hands, and that's, to be honest, right now, that's, I think, where the country is We just have to hope and pray that Donald can turn around enough people. And remember, you can help. As I said, I think a great argument is, are you worried about someone who says stupid things and then tries to justify it, or someone who does stupid things and then lies about them? That should be argument enough. And the other one, of course, is SCOTUS. If you really think that you can't vote for Donald Trump, then just think about voting for a conservative Supreme Court. Because if Hillary gets in, we will lose the Supreme Court, maybe forever. Okay, I'm hoping that I am back now. It skipped there though. I don't know. It must be the network. Very sad though that having all these problems, but we'll see. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about some alternatives to the lane, which is published monthly by WND. It used to be World News Daily, but now WND.com, and that's the place to go. And I can recommend it if you can afford it. I can't remember what the subscription is. It's right now it's $50 a year. So basically for 12 issues, about $4 each. But very interesting topics. A couple of recent ones, and they tend to be themed. A couple of recent ones had articles on Obama's plans for ramming through as much as he could before he leaves office, right? His end game, and just all the chaotic things that he's doing, and asking a very good question after Obama: is there any going back? Will he be able to put a lot of things in place? And of course, putting Hillary in place, getting the Supreme Court switched to a liberal, progressive, or regressive majority would really ensure that there wouldn't be any going back. And of course, that's why he jumped into the fray and did that despicable thing in Singapore, where he lambasted Trump. Lambasting Trump abroad. I mean, that is totally against all precedent. It was really something that presidents were not supposed to do. You could do it at home, but you never did it abroad. But of course, Obama just doesn't give two hoots for anything like that at all. So, what are some of the things that? What other things is King Barry doing to make sure that that we are forever fixed with everything, with all this left-wing nonsense? One of the other thing that's happening, and I mentioned this a while back, and then it kind of again got forgotten, I think. But the fact that HUD is going gangbusters, pardon the term, to integrate the suburbs, let's say the middle class suburbs, with inner city people. In other words, they're making rules whereby Section 8 voucher holders, these are people who get subsidies to live, have to not just live in the inner cities, but are now have to be absorbed into the suburbs, because the suburbs are too privileged, the suburbs are too white, and we have to integrate these things. Now, Bill Clinton had a similar program in '94 called Moving to Opportunity Initiative, which moved thousands of minority families from the government projects to higher quality homes in safer and less racially segregated neighborhoods. They tried this out. Now, after 15 years, they looked back and they found out that adults using these more generous Section 8 vouchers, more generous means more money, more taxpayer money. Yes, spending our money. Well, that's what liberals do. But adults using more generous Section 8 vouchers did not get better jobs or get off welfare. In fact, more went on food stamps, and their children did not do better in their new schools. Worse, crime simply followed them to their safer neighborhoods, ruining the quality of life for them and existing residents. I mean, this is just typical. But they still press ahead doing that because it fits their narrative. It doesn't matter whether or not it's good for the country. It fits their narrative. Another thing that the whistleblower article or magazine, that issue, mentioned is if we want to take a look at our future, and especially the future that Obama is trying to seal before he leaves office, it's very easy. Just take a look at some of the cities like Detroit, like even Washington, D.C., the inner city. The surrounding counties are amongst the richest in America, but the city itself is unbelievable. And why is that? Democrat rule for years and years and years. I look at Atlanta, where the local council there is as corrupt as anything. It's been Democrats for years and years and years. Look at Miami. Years and years and years of Democrat rule. And they're the inner city. Same thing. Falling apart. But obviously Detroit, which looks like a war zone, is really the worst. What else does whistleblower talk about? It talks about the left's plan to free 1 million prisoners and get 1 million voters, because most felons vote Democrat. So it's all sorts of things like that we see there. Just unbelievable. Okay, well, I'm going to have to cobble together this show, I think, before it can be rebroadcast, but still time for commercials. So, folks, give me a couple of minutes and I will be back.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more on your federal or state income taxes, I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. The IRS, with their Fresh Start initiative, is offering more flexible terms to Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. They can help you lift your wage garnishments, stop bank levies, and put your tax problem behind you once and for all. Far less than what you owe. 800-357-8110. 800-357-8110. 800-357-8110. 800-357-8110.
The offer of a franchise can only be made through delivery of a franchise disclosure document. Imagine yourself being a leader in America's fastest growing demographic category. More than 10,000 people a day turn 65, and a large percentage are going to need a helping hand at home or in choosing the right assisted living community. Always Best Care is looking for people who've excelled at everything they've done, but they're seeking a new challenge. Always Best Care is one of the fastest growing companies in this explosive field. We're looking for 25 new franchisees to keep our booming business growing. We'll back you up with the strongest award-winning marketing program in the industry, and we'll provide the special training and support that's fueled our growth to prepare you for this great opportunity. All that's missing is you. Call Always Best Care toll-free at 1-800-643-7508. That's 1-800-643-7508. For Always Best Care, 1-800-643-7508. Call today.
You're listening to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, broadcast on the internet, and also available at archives.patrickcomelately.us, a proud member of the Red Nation Rising Radio Network.
Okay, folks, we're into the last few minutes of the show. Timing has gone tremendously off on this. I'm not sure what's happened, obviously, with the network problems, but I will probably have to cobble together show so that I can get the 54 minutes that I normally have to deliver for the rebroadcasts. I may be doing that a little bit later online, so if you want to join in, you can try. I'll be doing it through the same link. But we are getting close to the end. There were some other things I wanted to handle, including some interesting information on a different themed issue of Whistleblower, including some information from Sebastian Gorka, who appears on Fox News Channel a lot, and he has a great plan on how to get rid of ISIS, but maybe I'll save that for another show. What I do want to comment on is the following. Tonight was the primary for Paul Ryan, and as expected, he handily beat Paul Nehlen, who had challenged him, and we weren't expecting anything else. I haven't seen any numbers yet, but I'd be interested to see what the spread was. At one point they were saying it was going to be 80-20. Did Paul Ryan really win by that much? If so, heaven help the folks there in Minnesota, because he is as smarmy and as evil as many other politicians. Why do I say that? I saw his acceptance speech, and he could have been Hillary Clinton or any one of her surrogates with what he was saying. No, he never mentioned Trump by name, but basically every single thing that the left is saying about Trump, he uttered as well. Without saying anything, he was talking about not using fear, not being divisive. Everything that everybody on the left says about Trump, he said. So I agree with Trump. It's about time that you just you say, folks, it's absolutely ridiculous, and you shouldn't trust Paul Ryan, and Trump's endorsement of Ryan a week ago was all for nothing when you heard what Ryan said in his acceptance speech. And I hope that Trump speaks up and really lambasts him back for that. And people say, oh, you can't do that, he's the chief Republican. If you can't trust your own party, then the Republicans are going to lose. We're going to lose the SCOTUS, and it's going to be on them, not on Trump, but on them. Okay, folks, it looks like I'm not sure of the timing right now. Everything's kind of acting really crazy, but I think it's getting close to when the show should be ending. So I'm going to say TTFN. Here we go, because it will start shortly, the music, and that means it's time to say goodbye. And yes, it is time to say goodbye now. I hope you'll come next week. Hopefully I won't have these same problems. I expect to be working from home with a good network connection, so join me next week. See you then.
Thank you for listening to the show. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's topics. Whether you listened live, to a recording, or to a rebroadcast, I appreciate the time you share with me. We need to spread the message of liberty far and wide, so please tell your friends and family about the show. Thank you for helping to keep the beacon of hope burning. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, signing off. God bless America, and remember, L3, long live liberty.